to In the Kitchen with Khalilah. Today we're going to be making chicken and sausage pastalaya.
When you want the food, in your life, you know where to go, don't think twice. Come on, in the kitchen with Khalilah. Come on, in the kitchen with Khalilah.
We're going to go through our ingredients, or like we say in New Orleans, make our groceries. So here we go. We're going to start with 3 pounds of your choice of chicken that's cleaned and chopped. Here I've got boneless, skinless thighs. I prefer to use dark meat because dark meat usually gives you a better flavor and texture when it comes to cooking dishes, and it's also juicier. Next, we're going to use 1 pound of smoked sausage. You can also use, which is very popular in Louisiana, andouille sausage for a little bit more kick. Also, we have our Trinity. Our Trinity in Louisiana is the 3 most common vegetables or seasonings that we use in our dishes, which it always consists of yellow onion, bell peppers, but here I have 3. I have green, red, and yellow, and also celery. So here we go with, it's 1 full bell pepper of each color, 1 full yellow onion, a 1/2 cup of finely chopped celery. We're also going to go with a cup of fresh chopped parsley, onion powder, garlic powder, Creole seasoning, black pepper, bay leaves, and a browning sauce. You can usually find a Cajun browning sauce on your gravy aisle in the grocery store. This is what's going to give our pastalaya that dark brown color. And also we're going to use spaghetti. I have 1 pound of spaghetti cut in half or broken in half, however you may like to do it. And also, this is the same ingredients that you would do in jambalaya, but you would use 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice in substitute of the pastalaya to make jambalaya. We're going to get started after this break, right here on Taste on TV.
In the kitchen with Khalilah. Come on home, in the kitchen with Khalilah.
Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Khalilah on Taste on TV. So today we're going to be making the Cajun version of pastalaya, which means that we're going to be having more of a smoked and savory flavor versus the Creole version, which uses tomatoes. And we're making pastalaya instead of the most common jambalaya, which takes rice. Pastalaya usually use any form of pasta that you may use, whether it may be spaghetti, bow tie, rotini, or even elbow noodles. So when making my jambalaya or pastalaya, in this case, I love using my cast iron Dutch oven. Historically, these pots have been around for a very long time. It's just something about the seasoning process and the way it just makes your food just taste so much flavorful, and it just tastes like home. It's just down home comfort cooking. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with our oil. And like I said, in my case, it's going to be bacon grease into the skillet. I let my skillet heat up to medium-high heat first because we want this skillet to be nice and high when we put the oil and the seasonings in to go ahead and start frying. So you hear that nice sizzle in that pot. So that's going to be the bacon grease. And next we're going to start incorporating our seasonings first because we want those to go ahead and start cooking. So we're going to start with our onions. You want to make sure that you have your skillet hot enough so that it gives it a nice sizzle to where it's like simmering but also frying at the same time, because you want to have it nice and sauteed. I like using the tricolor peppers or the red, green, and yellow, because it just makes your dish look so much happier and full of life and color. You know, people tend to eat with their eyes, so when they have pretty food in front of them, then they tend to enjoy it more. So when you cook and it calls for bell pepper, I always like to use colorful vegetables or seasonings in my dishes. And like I said, make sure that your skillet is on a medium-high heat, because you're going to also need that skillet nice and hot and that all nice and hot for when you incorporate your meats, to give your meats a nice good sear. So next we're going to start and we're going to incorporate our chicken into here. I'm going to fry that through. At this point, if you don't feel like it's frying good enough, you can always increase your heat, but be careful and watch it. Do not walk away. So I'm going to increase my heat up to high, just to make sure that that chicken is really cooked and really well, and that all the bacteria is cooked out, because we don't want to, have any chances of salmonella or anything spreading. When you cook your chicken, you have to be really careful to make sure that it's cooked thoroughly. Now, while my chicken is in here, this is when I like to incorporate my dry seasonings. I like to sprinkle a little Creole seasoning. Now, of course, also with your dry seasonings, you always want to season to taste. This was about a 1/4 cup of Creole. What I like to do, I sprinkle a little bit to start, and throughout the process, you taste and see if you need to add a little bit more. There's no really tried or true method of seasoning your food, because what may be delicious to me may be too salty for somebody else. A little onion powder. So that was Creole seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder. And we're going to do a little black pepper here. And I like to do it with just my chicken in, to make sure that my chicken is very nice and seasoned. Because chicken sometimes takes a little bit more seasoning than other meats to get flavor. Once your chicken and your smoked sausage has become brown, you're going to add 6 cups of water to your pot. And I do 6 cups to 1 pound of spaghetti. Now that your stock has come to a boil, you want to gently drop in your spaghetti. You want to gently stir it through, being careful to break up the spaghetti from sticking together in clumps. You want to reduce your fire to medium-low and cover partly. You want to leave it a little open so that the steam can escape and it helps the water ball out. And you want to check on this often. Don't walk away and just let it cook, because that spaghetti needs to be stirred occasionally to make sure that it's not cooking together and that it's not sticking together. So occasionally you want to come back and stir it and check. And you want to bring this to a boil. As you're bringing it to the boil, as it's coming to the boil, you can go ahead and add in your browning sauce. And stir that through. It's going to give it a nice chocolate brown color. Your fresh chopped parsley. And your bay leaves. We're going to stir that through and let that come to a boil before we add the spaghetti. Adding all of your ingredients and bringing it to a bowl creates your stock for your jambalaya. And what you're going to do, once it comes to a boil and add your spaghetti, you're going to cover it and let all the liquids cook out. And what you're going to do is just let it cook like this until all the liquid cooks out and the spaghetti is al dente, or which means to the teeth. It's not mushy, but it's just the perfect firmness and softness to be eaten. At the age of 14, I decided that I wanted to move back to the city. I was tired of that country life. I was a city girl. So I had a cousin that took me in with her family, and she enrolled me to the illustrious McDonald 35 Senior High School in New Orleans, Louisiana, which was actually the very first black high school in New Orleans. From there, I moved into my titi, or as you guys know it as your aunt, but in New Orleans we call it my titis. My titi, who is an amazing cook and someone who I call still to this day for cooking advice. Also seeing her in the kitchen, from making her smothered pork chops and her smothered cabbage and her pork fried rice and her socket tummy cakes. Oh my God, y'all have no idea the way that woman can burn. And so that fueled my fire even more. So I found myself watching her and asking her, well, how you do this? And how do you do this? And when do you put this up in there? And how do you do this? She'd be like, girl, just bring your behind up in here and let me show you how to do this. Because you ain't going to be asking me all this questions wearing my nerves. So watching her is made me, even learn even more so and wanted to, cook even more so. Even just to get more of my culture and more of my food, food culture embedded into me. So here we are. Throughout the years, I have learned how to cook. I've perfected my craft. I even at one time owned my catering company in Ponchatoula, Louisiana, where I raised my family because my husband and I went on to have 2 more boys, Freddie and Khalilah. Now I have 3 men, and y'all know how men can eat. So I had to step up my game and step it up fast. So I did, and here we are today.
When you want the food, in your life, you know where to go, don't think twice. Come on, in the kitchen with Khalilah. Come on home, in the kitchen with Khalilah.
Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Khalilah on Taste on TV. So let's open it and see what we have here. Are y'all as excited as I am? The smells, the smokiness, the aroma of the chicken and the sausage is just divine. So we're going to go ahead and put this in a nice bowl. Get a little bay leaf there. Garnish with a sprig of parsley. And there you have it. Chicken and sausage Cajun Pastalaya. Let's try it, shall we, babies? Oh, I can just see it's going to be so delicious. That's some good food right there. Thank you guys so much for joining me again in the kitchen with Khalilah on Taste on TV. So you know what you gotta do. Grab your towel, your napkin, or whatever you may have. And let's dance this thing on out. And I'll see you next time on In the Kitchen with Khalilah on Taste on TV.
I said rock with me, rock with me, rock with me. Come on, say roll with me, roll with me, roll with me. Come on, I say rock with me, knock with me, knock with me. Come on, I say roll with me.